and welcome back to Learn with Aparajita, your go-to destination for mastering Class 12 English Core. If you have been following along, you have already gained a deep understanding of the third level, its summary, themes, and important aspects. But knowing the content is only half the battle. In this video, we'll focus on the exam-oriented aspects of the chapter covering these. Before starting off, those of them who are new, please subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon, and do like and share this video with your friends. This session is all about fine-tuning your preparation so you can maximize your score and tackle any question with confidence. So let's get started. Understanding the literary devices used in the third level will help you appreciate the depth of the story and prepare you for exams or discussions. Let's break them down. The third level symbolizes escapism, representing Charlie's desire to flee from modern anxieties into a peaceful, nostalgic past. The old-fashioned train station is a metaphor for an idealized past where life appears simpler and more stable. Imagery. Finney uses vivid sensory imagery to make Charlie's experience feel real. Phrases like "I could smell the different air" and "the smell of old trains" immerse the reader in the setting. The contrast between the chaotic present and the peaceful 1894 setting is enhanced through visual and olfactory imagery. Foreshadowing. The story includes hints that the third level might be a product of Charlie's imagination. Sam, the psychiatrist, suggests that Charlie is looking for an escape, hinting that the third level may not be real. Charlie's own description of it as wild and unreal subtly suggests its illusory nature. Irony, situational irony. Charlie believes the third level exists, but no one else, including his wife Louisa, agrees with him. Dramatic irony. The reader understands that Charlie may be imagining the third level while he remains convinced of its reality. Flashback. Flashbacks help reveal Charlie's longing for the past. His nostalgic reflections on 1894 and discussions with Sam highlight his dissatisfaction with modern life. Metaphor. The third level serves as a metaphor for escapism, representing a psychological refuge from contemporary stress. The train station symbolizes life's journey and the passage of time. Allegory. The story functions as an allegory for human escapism, illustrating the tendency to retreat into fantasy when faced with reality's pressures. Juxtaposition. Finney contrasts modern life with 1894's slower, more peaceful world, emphasizing the stark differences between the two. Ambiguity. A key element of the third level is its open-ended nature. Finney never confirms whether the third level truly exists, leaving it to the reader's interpretation. Paradox. The third level logically should not exist, yet Charlie is convinced of its reality, creating a paradox that blurs the line between illusion and truth. Allusion. The story alludes to Freudian psychology, suggesting that Charlie's mind has constructed a fantasy to cope with stress. Grand Central Station, a place of movement and transition, symbolizes the unstoppable nature of time. Tone. The story shifts between mystery, nostalgia, and psychological exploration, reflecting Charlie's inner conflict. Stream of consciousness. Finney occasionally uses a stream of consciousness style, allowing readers to experience Charlie's thoughts and emotions firsthand. Personification. Grand Central Station is described as a living entity with its growing corridors pushing people in different directions, emphasizing the overwhelming nature of modern life. Characterization. Charlie is characterized through his thoughts and actions, revealing his longing for escape. Louisa, his wife, is skeptical and practical, representing reality. Sam, the psychiatrist, is both a guide and a skeptic, questioning Charlie's experiences while secretly embracing escapism himself. Dialogue. Conversations between Charlie, Louisa, and Sam highlight their differing perspectives on reality and escapism. Setting: the bustling, overwhelming Grand Central Station contrasts with the tranquil world of 1894, reinforcing the theme of escape. Suspense: Finney maintains suspense by keeping the reader uncertain. Will Charlie find the third level again? Is it real or just a figment of his imagination? This unresolved tension keeps the story engaging. Each of these literary devices enhances the third level, making it a rich exploration of nostalgia, escapism, and human psychology. The blending of reality and illusion, the yearning for escape, and the fluidity of time create a compelling narrative that resonates with anyone who has ever wished to escape their present reality. Now that we have delved into the literary devices, children, and the techniques Jack Finney uses to weave these intriguing tale, let's turn our attention to some keywords and phrases from the third level. These words not only add depth to the story, but also help convey its themes more effectively. By familiarizing ourselves with these key terms, we'll be better equipped to express the core ideas of the chapter in our own writing. Now it's time to address some common errors that students tend to make when studying or answering questions. So let's go over the most frequent errors and ensure that you answer every question with clarity and precision. Some students take the third level too literally, believing it is a real place rather than a symbolic or psychological construct. Remember that the third level represents more than just a physical space. It is a metaphor for nostalgia, escapism, and the human desire to return to simpler times. Make sure to discuss the third level in terms of its symbolic meaning rather than assuming it as a purely literal location. Next, students often overlook or underemphasize the central theme of time, particularly the contrast between past and present. Focus on how the story portrays time as fluid and subjective. Discuss how Charlie's experience with the third level challenges the conventional understanding of time and how it relates to his psychological state and desire for escape. Some students fail to analyze how the characters, especially Charlie, are developed through their dialogue and actions. Pay attention to how Charlie's longing for escape is revealed through his conversations with Louisa and Sam. Also note how Louisa's practicality and Sam's psychological insights provide contrasts that enhance the story's themes. Students sometimes miss the deeper meaning of the symbols in the story, such as the train station, the third level, and the tickets Charlie finds. Always look for objects, settings, or events that carry symbolic meaning. For example, discuss how the train station symbolizes a passage between times and how Charlie's ticket represents a journey not just in space but in time and memory. Many students focus too much on the external plot and fail to delve into the psychological aspects, such as Charlie's mental state or the possibility of the third level being a creation of his mind. Make sure to explore the psychological aspect of the story, reflect on Charlie's motivations, his desire for escape, and how his perception of reality may be distorted by stress, nostalgia, and his mental state. Some students provide an oversimplified interpretation of the ending, concluding that Charlie simply imagined the third level or that it's a dream. The ending is ambiguous. Instead of simplifying it, explore the complexity of the conclusion. Discuss how the ending leaves the reader questioning the nature of reality and fantasy, and how it reflects the uncertainty of Charlie's journey. Failing to recognize the historical and social context of the story, particularly the setting of 1894 and the post-World War II era, can lead to misinterpretations. Consider the time period when the story is set and when it was written. Discuss how the historical context influences Charlie's desire for a simpler world, as well as the post-war mentality that might contribute to his yearning for escape. Some students focus solely on summarizing the plot and neglect the deeper thematic analysis or literary elements. While it's important to understand the plot, make sure to connect the plot with the themes and literary devices. The focus should be on why the events happen and what they represent, not just on what happens. Using quotes without proper explanation or context is a common mistake. Always explain how a quote relates to the themes or characters. For example, don't just state a quote from Charlie about the third level. Analyze its significance and how it deepens the reader's understanding of his character of the story's themes. Not fully addressing the situational and dramatic irony in the story is also an error. Recognize the irony in Charlie's belief that the third level is a real place while others dismiss it as a mental escape. Explore the dramatic irony where the reader knows the ambiguity of the third level while Charlie is convinced of its reality. Students sometimes overlook the importance of the setting in shaping the story's tone and themes. The setting of Grand Central Station with its busy modern feel contrasts sharply with the calm nostalgic atmosphere of the third level. Discuss how this contrast helps convey Charlie's discontent with the present and his longing for a peaceful past. By avoiding these common errors, you'll be able to provide a more nuanced and insightful analysis of the third level. Make sure to focus on the deeper meanings of the symbols, the themes, and the characters, and always back up your points with specific examples and explanations. This approach will help you not only understand the story better, but also write stronger, more effective responses in your exams. Now that we have covered the common errors, let's move on to probable short answer questions that you might encounter in your exam. These questions test your understanding of key events, characters, themes, and literary devices from the third level. Short answer questions require concise yet precise responses. You need to stay on point, use relevant keywords, and where necessary, include examples from the text to support your answers. Let's go through some of the most likely short answer questions and discuss how to approach them effectively. What is the third level? Define here the third level as a symbolic train station that represents Charlie's desire to escape to a simpler past. Highlight that it's not a literal place but more of a psychological construct reflecting Charlie's need to escape from modern life. Next, what role does time play in the third level? Explain here that time in the story is not fixed. Charlie's journey to the third level challenges the concept of time as something linear. Discuss how Charlie's escape to the past reflects the relativity of time in the story's context. How does Charlie describe his experience at the third level? Focus on Charlie's own perspective. He finds himself in a peaceful, old-fashioned place, a stark contrast to the modern world. Describe the details of the setting, the atmosphere, ticket agents, etc. to show how it reflects his yearning for the past. Next, how does Louisa reflect to Charlie's story about the third level? Highlight Louisa's skepticism. She dismisses the story as a product of Charlie's imagination and stresses practical, grounded thinking. This creates a contrast between Charlie's idealism and Louisa's pragmatism. What does Sam's explanation of the third level suggest about reality and imagination? In this question, discuss Sam's suggestion that the third level could be a psychological escape rather than a physical time portal. Analyze the way Sam's explanation blurs the lines between reality and illusion, leaving the reader to question Charlie's experience. What is the significance of Charlie finding a ticket for the third level? The ticket symbolizes Charlie's connection to the past and his belief that the third level is real. Explain how the ticket is a physical manifestation of his emotional and psychological journey. How does the story reflect the theme of escape? Focus here on Charlie's yearning for a simpler, less stressful life. Discuss how the third level represents a metaphorical escape from the harsh realities of the modern world and how this reflects a universal desire for nostalgia. What is the role of Grand Central Station in the story? Explain that Grand Central Station represents the busy modern world. In contrast, the third level provides a calmer, nostalgic world, highlighting Charlie's internal struggle and his wish to escape the pressures of contemporary life. How does the story end and what is its significance? The ending is ambiguous. Charlie continues to believe in the third level, but whether it's real or imagined remains unclear. Discuss how the open ended conclusion invites the reader to question the nature of reality and escape. Now that we have covered the short answer questions, let's move on to long answer questions which require deeper analysis and well structured responses. These questions often focus on themes, character development, symbolism, and critical interpretation of the third level. To score full marks, you need to write detailed, well organized answers with clear introductions, body paragraphs, and conclusions. Support your points with textual evidence, references, and literary insights will make your response stand out. Let's explore some of the most probable long answer questions and learn how to tackle them effectively. Discuss the central theme of the third level and how it is explored through the protagonist's experience. Discuss here Charlie's desire to escape the pressures of modern life. Explain how the third level is both a literal and symbolic representation of this escape. Relate this theme to Charlie's psychological state and use examples from the text to support your points. Next, how does Jack Finney use symbolism in the third level? Discuss the significance of the train station and the tickets. Here, break down the symbolism of the train station and tickets. The station represents a journey through time, while the tickets serve as a physical connection to the past. Explain how these symbols help reinforce the theme of nostalgia and the desire to escape. What role does psychological escape play in the third level? Analyze Charlie's mental state and how it influences his experience. Discuss how Charlie uses the third level as a psychological escape to deal with the stresses of his life. Connect this to his emotional state and his longing for a simpler, happier time. Use examples of his interactions with other characters to show how his mental state shapes his experience. How does the character of Sam provide insight into the theme of reality versus illusion in the third level? Analyze how Sam's rational view contrasts with Charlie's belief in the third level. Sam's explanation that it may be a product of Charlie's mind challenges the idea of time travel and introduces ambiguity about what is real and what is imagined. Discuss how this deepens the theme of illusion versus reality. Explain how Jack Finney's use of irony enhances the story. Discuss situational and dramatic irony in the third level. First, explain situational irony, that is, Charlie believes the third level is real, but the reader knows that it may be an escape from reality. Then discuss dramatic irony, which is the reader knows that Charlie is likely imagining the third level while he firmly believes in its existence. Explain how this irony heightens the mystery and thematic depth of the story. Now that we have covered probable long questions, let's take it a step further with high order thinking questions. These questions go beyond basic recall and require deep analysis, critical thinking, and interpretation. They challenge you to connect themes, symbols, and character motivations to broader ideas and even real world concepts. Answering hot questions effectively can set your response apart and help you score higher in your exams. So let's dive into some thought-provoking questions and discuss how to approach them. This question pushes students to analyze the philosophical implications of the story. It asks them to explore Charlie's psychological state, the nature of reality, and how escapism works as a coping mechanism. This question requires students to examine the ambiguity in the story and form a well-reasoned argument based on textual evidence, encouraging them to think critically about the nature of time and reality. This question invites students to explore the socio-cultural critique in the story, looking at how the contrast between past and present highlights issues such as the stress of modern life, the loss of innocence, and the desire for nostalgia. This question asks students to reflect on the philosophical implications of the story, particularly regarding human nature and the need for stability and the ways in which individuals seeks answers to life's uncertainties. This question delves into the psychological aspects of the story, asking students to analyze how the unconscious mind and psychological stress can distort perceptions of reality, pushing them to think critically about the intersection of psychology and narrative. This comparative question encourages students to think beyond the story itself, making connections to other works of literature. It asks for a broader analysis of escapism and how the third level approaches it differently. This question requires a deep understanding of irony and its function in the narrative. Students must analyze how irony shapes the story's themes and contributes to the overall ambiguity of the third level's existence. This question encourages students to reflect on human nature, belief systems, and the ways people cling to comforting ideas or illusions, even when confronted with contradicting evidence. It asks for an exploration of the psychological and the emotional elements of the story. This question requires students to interpret the setting symbolically, linking it to Charlie's psychological state and his desire to escape. It encourages deeper thinking about how setting contributes to themes in literature. This question asks for a philosophical reflection on the story's message about human existence, urging students to consider how the blending of reality and illusion in the narrative mirrors real life struggles with uncertainty and self deception. Now, let's look out for some of the tips that might help you to score full marks in the third level. Make sure you fully understand the themes of the chapter, such as nostalgia, escapism, and time travel. Understanding these themes allows you to answer questions from different angles, whether they focus on character motivations or broader societal critiques. Use the important keywords and phrases discussed earlier to enhance your answers. Terms like illusion versus reality, symbolism, nostalgia, and psychological escape can make your answers stand out. Develop a deep understanding of Charlie, Louisa, and Sam. For instance, Charlie's psychological state and his longing for escape are central to the story. Be prepared to analyze characters based on their actions, motivations, and development throughout the story. Always use reference to context examples when answering questions. Quote directly from the text to support your answers and ensure that you clearly explain the meaning and significance of each example. For long answers, avoid surface level responses. Always aim to analyze the material. For example, when discussing the themes of the story, don't just mention them. Explain how they are developed through plot, symbolism, and clear interactions. Make sure your answers are well organized. For each question, have a clear introduction, body, and conclusion. This helps to present your thoughts clearly and ensures you cover all the important points in your response. Stay focused on the questions. Don't veer off topic or over explain. Don't overcomplicate your answers. Be clear and concise, especially when explaining literary devices or summarizing the plot. Don't leave out key details. For example, don't forget to mention the significance of the third level or the ambiguity of the ending. Don't skip the conclusion. Always wrap up your answer with a brief summary or final thought that reinforces your main points. Use literary devices like irony, symbolism, metaphor, and imagery effectively in your answers. Understanding these devices will allow you to identify their impact on the narrative and interpret their meaning in context. Anticipate likely exam questions, especially around the themes, characters, and plot of the chapter. Practice answering probable short and long questions to refine your writing skills and ensure you can respond confidently in your exams. In the exam, manage your time well. Spend a few minutes planning your answers before you start writing to ensure you cover all points. Don't rush and stay calm. This will help you think clearly and structure your answers effectively. By following these strategies, you'll be well on your way to mastering the third level and securing the maximum score possible in your exams. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe if you found this video helpful, and make sure to hit the notification bell so you can never miss out an update on more exam strategies and content. Keep practicing, stay focused, and as always, you have got this. Good luck with your studies, and I'll see you in the next video.